Alright guys, it's your boy Taco Phil here. So this is my little example. Yeah, I like that, right? Because this is what happens when you got nothing but time on your hands. So these are my little cones. I get to use, I'm using these awesome little incense stick steels here I got here as my miniature cones. So this is a top-down view. Imagine this is a typical course. Yeah, I'd say this is a typical course. Alright, so this is kind of how it was set up when I did mine with the cones. Okay? So, the important thing to remember is you've got these thresholds. And I set it up with this color coordination with that specific thing in mind. So, imagine these are your yellow cones, imagine these are maybe some red cones, and yellow cones, these are your boundaries here. These red cones here, your boundaries, red cones, your boundaries. Again, might be set up differently in your place, but this is how it was set up for me, just to give you an example. Just to give you an example of how the skills test will go. So, first and foremost, before anything, make sure your seatbelt is on. I think of how many times I've heard people get failed because they start the maneuvers, and what do? They forget to put their bloody seatbelt on. Make sure your seatbelt is on. Make sure your seatbelt is on. Make sure you have positive control of that bus. Make sure your seatbelt is on. If you move that bus an inch without your seatbelt on in the state of California, that's an automatic fail. So make sure your seatbelt is on. So, what I had to do is the straight in, straight out. It was the first thing I had to do. So basically, straight in, straight out, you're gonna line up your bus with the nose of it before the first two sets of cones. You're gonna take that bus, you're gonna bring it straight forward until the rear of the bus clears the last set of cones. There's there. You're gonna clear that last set of cones, and then you're gonna back it up until you've cleared that front set of cones. Now the only difficult thing here is just make sure you have positive control of the bus when you're going forward and back. Make sure you keep that nose and that tail straight. Make sure you don't bump into anything. It's going to be up to you to know when you've cleared the rear. So keep an eye out for when you've cleared the rear. Know your reference points and all that good stuff. But that's probably going to be your easiest part. Straight in, straight out. Okay? Now my second test on my skills was the augmented alley. Or not the augment, I keep saying augmented alley. The offset reverse, sorry. So with the offset reverse, all you're gonna do is, this is your threshold. You've got two sets now. You've got to worry about this set, and this is your threshold here. So all you're gonna do is you're gonna pull that bad boy forward so the tail clears. We'll make sure that tail clears that first set of cones. Bring it as far forward as you can. Okay? As far forward as you can. Once you bring it as far forward as you can, you're going to kick that freaking steering wheel all the way over to the left. Get those tires pointing this way. Hard, hard, hard to the left. Now, important thing when you're doing this is when you start moving, continue to turn that to the left, because you'll have a little bit of play once you start moving, and you want to continue to turn it all the way to the left. What that'll do is that'll start turning that tail of the bus. That front end will start swinging out as you're coming back. Now, make sure you give yourself a lot of room by turning it as hard as you can before moving. Make sure you completely stop. Start turning that steering wheel to the left as hard as you can. Get those wheels over to the left as hard as you can. Then, start slowly moving and maneuvering the tail of that bus. Okay? So, what you want to do is you want to get this beautiful view here where you have the cone on the right or the passenger side in view and the cone on your left in view. Okay? Then you're basically going to start backing that bad boy up. You can straighten out those wheels, start backing that bad boy up. Right? Cock that steering wheel all the way over to the right or to the passenger side and start lining it up. Now the key here is this middle set of cones. You're going to start cocking it over Once that middle set of cones comes into view, you can start bringing it back even more, and then you can just take your view to that last set of cones. So on your back driver's side, you should see this last cone here within line of sight. Once it's in line of sight, straighten that wheel out, and you should be able to just push it all the way back till you clear the last set of cones. Boom, offset, all done. See how easy that was? So just remember, recap. Bring it forward, stop, cock that steering wheel over to the left, start coming back. Once you've got this cone on the passenger side in sight, you've got your path, and you've got the one on the driver's in sight, start bringing it back. All right. Once that cone comes close to the tail, start bringing it over. Get that second set of cones inside on your driver's side. Start bringing it back. Start turning, and keep turning. Get that last set of cones in sight. Straighten it out, and bring it on back. That's the offset reverse. So I had to do that. It can be a little nerve-wracking, but you'll be fine. You know, again, they give you one chance to get out, double check, make sure that you're clear. If you feel you need to take it, take it. All right? Now, the last thing I had to do was the parallel park. So, parallel park, you're going to start with the nose. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah. So you can start with your nose before the first set of cones. This is going to be your threshold here. And the idea is to get that bus lined up in here within the inside of each cone without hitting any cones. Now, this is where it's going to become important to know your pivot point and know your references. So, for this kind of bus, it might be different for your bus, it might be different for different companies, it might be even different in different states. But in California, what you're going to do is you're going to bring that bus up. You're going to line it until the rear of the bus is about the rear, or a little bit past the rear of the last set of cones. You're going to cock that steering wheel all the way over to your left, or to your driver's side. All right, and then you're going to start bringing that bus back. Watch, make sure you're clear of your pivot point here. And this is the trick. The trick is you're going to get that passenger mirror to line up with the cone at the far. He goes with the cone on this end here, on the far threshold here. Once you have that line up right here, once you see it, straighten that wheel out and bring it straight back. The next thing is you're going to watch for that point. Actually, I just realized this is the opposite side. I'll show you both sides. So on this side, it's a lot easier. So once that cone comes to about the wheel, or your left shoulder is a good reference point here. On your left-hand side here, you're going to cock that steering wheel all the way to the passenger side. So turn it to the right. And while continuing to come back, you're going to just smooth that bad boy in, and boom. The left side's a lot easier. Alright? So that's how you basically do that left side. Real simple. Make sure you get out, walk around, make sure you got plenty of space, make sure you're inside the lines. All done. Now I'm going to show you the opposite way, which is most likely the way you're going to get, which is going to be the right hand side, because this is the most common one. So, you start down here, in front of your bus, behind, bring that bus up till it clears. Right? So you want to get it at about the back of the cone. The back of your bus is set up about the back of the cone. Don't be afraid to get out and double check. Make sure you're all set up. Cock that steering wheel all the way to the passenger side. You know, start bringing that bus back slowly. It's going to want to turn around that cone. And as you're bringing it up, you're going to bring that driver's side mirror, line it up. Bring it out a little bit. Line it up with that last cone all the way to the right. You should be able to see it. As soon as you see it, just go straight on back. Now this one can be a little hard because depending on your bus, you may or may not have a window. So you should be able to see this far cone here in your passenger mirror. There's going to be a point in which it disappears from that mirror. Typically, we like to do door. Once it's in the middle point right here of your door, you want to start turning in and the bus should clear it. If you don't have that mirror, if you don't have that glass in your door, you can't see where it is. What I was taught was give it about 3 seconds. So if you're coming back nice and slow, give it 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi. It should line up with that door. Then you can cock it all the way to the driver's side, to the left side, and while slowly moving back, you should be able to clear it and line it up. Now, don't be afraid if you feel like you're too tight, you feel like you're back here for some reason, to bring it forward and line it up. The important thing is make sure you're clear on the left-hand side and you're inside the box. If you're inside the box, you're good to go, okay? And that right there is a passing skills course. Real simple. In the rare case, they might have you do an offset alley. Let's see if I set up for an offset alley real quick. The offset alley is real simple. I'll do it this way. Take these guys, and we'll do it this way. Basically, we're taking this, we're going to back these out. Maybe not that far. It's about right here. We'll move it this way. So this right here, this setup right here is kind of an offset alley. It's not the most precise, but it's real simple. Just as simple as any of the other maneuvers. We're going to start here at the bottom. Here goes at your first set of cones. Alright? This is where you want to know your pivot point. You're going to bring that bad boy forward. Once you've gotten to your pivot point, you know your pivot point here. You want to take that bad boy all the way over to the left. Don't be afraid to stop. Don't be afraid to go slow. You're going to bring that bus over. So this is where a lot of people mess up, and I used to mess it up a lot, is when you're coming over and you start bringing it up, you think this is where you want to start turning. What's going to happen is if you start turning here, you're going to hit that inside cone. Remember, the good thing to remember is you sit in front of your tires. So don't think about where you are. Think about where the tires are. So the trick is you line up with this cone right here. Once you clear that pivot point, you should be good in the back. You line up with this point right here. You want to get that bad boy right in front of your bus. Try to get as close as you can and maneuverability, so don't get like super on it where you can't go. Get close and be able to maneuver. All right. Once you get that bad boy nice and close, cock that bad boy over to the right, and the bus will start coming over. Head for the second one, bring it up, bring it over. Head for the third one. See, look, I'm already messing it up. Ignore that. Yeah. Head for the third one, bring it up. All right. And as you can see, now we're lined up. It's kind of hard because you got this shadow here. See if I can get rid of some of that shadow. You can see we've on the right hand side, we've cleared this first set of cones. We've got a large gap between our left cone, or the bus, and the right cone, and we're lined up for that last cone. All you're gonna do, again, you're still cocking it hard. Bring it over and clear. This is my setup. Don't ignore that. And clear that last cone. Once you clear it, just straighten that out, and you should be able to clear those cones on the right. So remember, the important thing is to set up at this point to where you have the front of the bus facing straight into that first set of cones. And then you're basically progressing. Straight, bringing it over, straight, bringing it over, straight, bringing it up, straight. And then once you bring it over, you should clear all these cones. This is just my bad setup, but you get the idea. Okay? So that's my long video on, that's the augmented reality right there, and you gotta clear the back. So if you guys have any further questions, tell me if you enjoyed my little demonstration here, and I'll keep trying to upload some videos. All right, talk to you guys later.